Warning. The Dragon Between podcast may contain language and adult humor that is unsuitable for those 13 years and younger. Viewer discretion is advised. You're listening to the Dragon Between podcast, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign that takes place in the Eberron pulp fantasy setting created by Keith Baker. New episodes are recorded every other Sunday and released on the following week. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel for clips and future episodes. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for updates and news on the podcast. Thank you for listening, and now on with the show. When we last met, the characters found themselves dealing with some stowaways in the form of myconid sprouts. After some deliberation, it was decided by the majority that Auri would allow the creatures to stay in her cabin, free from any molestation. Less than a day later, the New Horizon made birth at the Lorandar docking tower in Zarashak, the city of stilts, and the House Jurasco cargo was delivered, allowing the group to settle up their debts with the shogunate. The group were then informed that the shogun wished to speak with the group, taking a particular interest in Ender. Before heading off to see about some upgrades for the airship, the group learned that the cleric companion, Gunthril, desired to part ways for now, intending to secure passage back to Karnath. Gunny resolved to stick with the group, however, until his vessel had departed. The characters arranged for the desired airship upgrades with an eccentric warforged, and then headed towards the palace of the shogunate, a floating palace at the very heart of the city, floating just above the remains of the House Thrash enclave. The group were then led down the halls, twisting this way and that way, eventually arriving in the main assembly chambers of Shogun Zaduk Kanton. After a somewhat uneasy reunion between Ender and his former commander Zaduk, the group learned that the Shogun desired their help in hunting down a group of terrorists called Zaduk's Bane. The party were then directed towards the crawling swamp to the north of the city, and given a boat to carry them to their destination. The characters then made haste towards the docks, away from the palace, to meet with their catamaran captain, Ghanima, and they all said a fond farewell to their Goliath friend. As the elemental boat glided north along the Glum River, the group settled in for a long trek, deep into the heart of the swamp. Sun beginning to hang low in the distance. Shadows cast from the various mangrove-like vegetation on the edges of the Glum River. The river itself is somewhat wide, and every so often you can see various individuals taking either canoes or flat skiffs of some sort, traversing up and down the river. Most of them seeming to utilize some sort of long pole arm to glide through the shallows at the edges, staying far away from the middle of the river, where the catamaran is now gliding. As you look around there, at the center of the catamaran, this raised level of the ship, there is a structure that is one part control center for the boat and also a place for individuals to take their rest. There's a few areas with swinging hammocks which are inside of the structure, and there is a stairwell that leads up to the very top of the raised platform on the catamaran, with some seating. Just very simple benches which are bolted down into the catamaran just in case the boat were to rock this way or that way. One of you might accidentally fall off. And the orc Ghanima looks to each of you. She's been just before the ship departed the docks at the edges of the web in Zarashak, and she took made sure that you were all on board before departing. And she's been getting to know each of you over the last hour now that you've all gone far away from the city. As you look out to the southeast now, you can see the moss oaks, the outer edges of the city, getting smaller and smaller in the distance. Well, now, y'all keep away from the edges of the platform, lest we have to go back and get you. For the most part, Ghanima doesn't pry. She doesn't pay any of you no never mind. She seems to be fully focused on the trajectory of the catamaran.
So, and
Oh no, I think your mic just died. All I heard was "so end," and I think you're talking to me.
testing.
It's working.
So, Ender,
So, Lathana,
what do you think of being on this new journey?
what do I think? I guess I don't know what to think yet.
It's nice coming home, or not really?
I'm not sure what I expected being back here. It's only been 2 years, but it looks like a lot has changed.
Oh wow, only 20 years. That from I don't know. I always thought it more like 10 from how you talk.
No, I've only been away from my homeland for 2 years. We've only been traveling for what? A month and a half together?
Wow, seems like so much longer than that.
You guys have gone through some shit together.
Yeah, those guy.
Out of character, but how long have we all been traveling? We've been over this before. We spent like a month off.
Correct. Realistically, it took you guys. I would say it's been less than a month. You guys have been traveling together. Like you've all known each other for less than a month.
And then when you consider that, yeah, I thought it was like less than a month.
Yeah.
And then our vacation. How about you, Lathana? What do you think of my land?
How it's interesting. I've not really been up in this area. I know that the Oisho Weapons Company, back when we were working, used to service there quite a bit, but that's but all.
I wonder who we've been dealing with lately. I see that we are at, I guess, we're having our own civil war here.
What's that
It
about,
seems that
war? Ghanima just sort of. She's been barefoot running up and down the sides of this structure on top of the deck, and she just sort of leans over the viewing area that's up top and looks over at you, Ender.
Talking about the takeover of the shogunate.
Are you talking about the shogun and the clans, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's been awful weird around here lately. I'll be honest, I haven't really had a lot of jobs coming my way. So this little bit of money that's coming to me from the Shogun is going to help quite a bit. I really appreciate y'all, whatever y'all did to get me hired on.
What's your name?
My name's Ganima. What's yours?
Ender.
Ender. I assume you look like a half orc. You aren't perhaps bearer of the mark, are you?
Mark? No.
The mark of finding, of course.
I'm not.
The only reason why I asked, I apologize, I don't mean to pry. It's that the mark of finding, I don't really see folk like that. Human or half orc, for that matter. There's humans and there's half orcs that here and there around, and but not many of them are either willing to admit that they have the mark or outwardly show it, for that matter. So I was just curious.
You can be curious. I do not have any mark. I know of others that have the mark, but
Oh, do you? Anybody that I might know of?
maybe.
Well, I apologize. I seem to have interrupted y'all while y'all was having a conversation. I heard you talking about the war, and that just seems to be all that anybody around these parts wants to talk about is, whether or not the shogunate is right for what they're doing, if the terrorists, if they're right for what they're doing. It's just a big old cluster.
What do you think of this big old cluster?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I had returned back to the marches after the war. Yes, I'm from this area, but I was out of the nation during the last war, if you will, and I returned back just before all this nonsense came up with the war and the shogun coming in and taking a hold of the government and trying to make these clans stop fighting each other. In my opinion, again, I know some people talk things bad about the shogun. I know people who talk bad about the terrorists. In my opinion, I feel like if someone's going to be in power, they need to be someone who can stop folk from fighting. I don't know if that's the shogun, and I don't know if it's these folk who are, allegedly going around and raising villages. There ain't that many villages in the marches, for that matter. But you understand what I mean. Whoever's in power has to be able to get things under control.
Well, that's just might be why we're here.
Oh,
Hopefully
really?
We can rein in this terror a little bit.
What exactly are y'all doing anyway, going upriver? This is kind of a dangerous river to be going up on. Even on the catamaran, we can, rise up above and get away from most of the creepy crawlies and the gators and crocs that are in these waters. But there's lots of horrible, awful things in the swamp. And I'm getting paid a pretty penny to take y'all out.
Well, we're hoping to find a little bit of this resistance up here.
Resistance? Is that what you call them? The ZB?
The ZB, yes.
Okay. Well, to be perfectly honest, I haven't been... Most folk I talk to just call them the terrorists. Or the ZB. I've not heard of them, good sir, referred to as the resistance. But... again, I'm just talking and jawing and I'm carrying on, and I apologize. You were just explaining exactly what y'all was doing going upriver. You said you want to find these resistance people.
Basically.
Well, I don't know if I can help y'all. I myself, again, I'm retired. I used to be a healer during the war. Now I just, take people up and down the Glum. Most of the time, I stay out of the swamp, if you understand me. But I
So
know
do you
how
know
to.
where we're headed?
I was told to take y'all north up to the crawling swamp. Is that correct?
Yeah. Do you know
So,
where in this crawling swamp you're bringing us?
well, the river, it twists that way and it twists that way. There'll be a couple of branches. We'll be taking, I believe we're going to be heading northeast on the first branch, and then we're going to head northwest on the next branch after that. That'll be a couple of days, though. In fact, we won't reach the first branch until, well, most likely first light tomorrow morning.
Multiple day journey, huh?
Yes, sir. Now,
Do you
don't.
know this area well?
I mean, I've lived here, been here for years now. I know most of these twisting side treks off of the main Glum River, but there are parts, obviously, of the marches that I stay far, far away from my own health, if you will.
You say for your own health. Is it because of the wildlife, or is it because there are other kinds of people up?
Oh, I mean, there's all kinds of. You throw a stone in any direction, and you're liable to run into some sort of horrible thing, whether it be a creepy crawly or just some crazy folk who just want to kill you and take what you have.
I see.
But again, you don't mind, never mind. You're on my ship, and Ghanim's gonna take care of all y'all. So if you get a scratch or something else, maybe you've got some horrible disease that you might have picked up in your pecker when you were in Zarashak, I can try to help you with that too. At any rate, I'm gonna leave y'all alone. Let you get back to a conversation that you were having. If you need me, I'll probably be on the boat. If I'm not on the boat and the boat's moving, y'all might need to call for help.
I look off the side of the boat. Do I see any wildlife?
Uh, Scanning over the side of the catamaran, the platform is raised up, I would say about a foot off of the water itself. And occasionally the two ballasts that are on either side of the platform sort of bounce gently in the waves as the elemental engine is propelling you all along. And every once in a while you see what appears to be some sort of a silver slick-sided fish that leaps up out of the water and plops back down. At least at this part, Ghanima has directed you guys more towards the middle of the river, away from the edges of the river, of the Glum. And every once in a while, as you scan out, look out in the distance, you get a feeling that you can see, familiar to you since you are from the Shadow Marches, the telltale sign of some sort of gator, crocodilian creature, just lazily swimming along the edges of the bank. You can see the bumps of the top of their body raised up in the water. But they're so far off and so far away that they couldn't possibly affect you or be a threat to you.
Littlona seeing the gator-like creatures, she will notch an arrow and aim at one of them, and
So you'll notch an arrow and aim at one of them and
take a shot.
oh, and take a shot. Okay. That would be a shot at disadvantage because you're so far away. You can just see them if Ender points it out to you, you'd be able to see it. You lost an arrow. Unfortunately, that is a natural one. First natural one of the night, guys.
Hey, I'm getting it out of the way, guys.
Get it out of the system.
Actually, I wasn't gonna approve of that shot, but I'm glad you got that one out of.
How far is it?
I'm sorry, sir. What'd you say?
How far is that creature over there?
And she goes, "What creature?" And she puts a hand over her brow to block out the sun as it's beginning to set in the distance.
Never mind.
Oh, sweetheart, you'll see all sorts of critters out here. I'm sure you'll see another one. You don't worry. Now, mind you, if I was not hired to hunt game, that is not what I was hired for. I was hired to deliver y'all. So if that's what y'all are interested in, once we slow the vehicle down for the evening and go into quote unquote a night mode of the boat, then perhaps you might be able to see them a little bit better. If you cast any kind of light source, if you have something, you might be able to see their eyes shine in the dark.
Oh, well, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Look, gator hunting tonight.
I don't do gators.
Oh, okay.
What I know about a fun sport, a fun animal to hunt for sport.
A fun animal to hunt for sport?
Yeah, I mean, I'm listening to Lathana talk about alligators, and I have this like, I want to be like, gators? Nah, we don't hunt gators. We hunt this.
Well, when you were a child, one of the things that you used to hunt were swamp panthers.
I'm going to explain to Lathana what a swamp panther is. Is that basically a snipe? Like a thing that doesn't exist that I send them off on a wild goose chase, and then throughout the night, Lathana is out there with a flashlight and a plastic bag, beating two pots and pans together, trying to catch a snipe, going, "Here, swamp panther, swamp panther, swamp panther," and it doesn't exist. Because if this is what we're doing tonight, then I'm totally.
I can tell you that the panthers are absolutely something that lives in the swamp. You're not messing with her unless you want to be messing with her.
No, I don't.
Okay.
What? Can we go snipe hunting? I mean.
Well, as Ghanima said, she has not been contracted to go game hunting with you all. However, if you want her to get closer to the bank, she would recommend that you do it during the day and not at night, because that's when the bigger, nastier things come out and like to hang out on the shores.
Okay. Well, I'm going to explain to Lathana what a swamp panther is.
Okay.
At least.
Now, what are the rest of y'all doing? I haven't heard much from Zito or for Auri.
Zito is going to be sitting in the exact middle of the boat, not getting too close to the edge because something might grab him.
Okay, are you hanging out in the covered area? Or are you up top?
Yes. I'm hanging out in the covered area.
Okay. And in the covered area, there is a ship's wheel, which is there at the what you would consider the front, this windowed area within. And there are various cubbies here and there with various hammocks at different heights so that your friends can climb into the hammocks when they're ready to go to sleep.
Actually, Zito is going to cast Find Familiar and bring out his raven to help keep watch.
Okay. Using your components and using the sigils and any words that you use, there is a bit of a puff of black smoke, sort of this dark purplish black smoke that suddenly forms into a raven. And the raven just lets out this discordant caw a few times, which I will not do because I know that some of you don't like it when I do that. Well, I figured you guys wouldn't want me to screech in your ears, a la Scorn.
Doesn't bother me.
Okay then. What about you, Auri? What are you doing?
I'm going to be sitting nearby Zito, but I'm going to be sitting with my little sketchbook open, and I'll be doodling in there.
Okay. Sporlin
My little
has
friend Sporlin, yeah.
Sporlin has been sitting on your hand, and he's trying to hold your quill as you're drawing. It's like helping you like steady it.
That's adorable.
Hey, Jeremy. I gotta
Yes.
walk away for just a moment, okay?
Okay. All right. So would you all like to do anything as we progress into the night?
Yes.
Okay.
Eli would like to try his collapse shard.
Okay. So Eli, you have this device now, which is I assume you're either carrying either around your neck or you pulled it out of your bag.
Yes, it's in my. I always keep it inside of my robe in the pocket of dimension.
Okay. As you pull the object out, the metal part of it, this frame, which is this cube-shaped frame or square-shaped frame, is warm to the touch, and there's a little bit of an effervescence that comes off of it. This light that seems to emit from it.
And I want to test it out as after identifying it,
Okay.
traveling. I want to test it.
All right. What would you like to do with it?
Try to get the item out of it.
Try to get an item out of it. Okay. Well, you've never done this before, but you're fairly certain, after tuning to this item, that all you have to do is think of what you want to make. And then it's a simple Arcana check.
Oh. Oh, okay. I thought it was random.
Nope, it's not random. You can.
Oh.
You can. It's only random if you fail your Arcana check.
Ah, okay. Now, okay. Okay. I'll have to see.
Now, keep in mind, what you're about to make is going to disappear at dawn.
Oh.
You will only have it for tonight, this evening.
Oh, so it's not. It's pointless then.
I mean, it's not pointless to play with it. You can do it again tomorrow.
That's true. I'm
Derek's-
going to think.
Eli is playing with his cube, guys.
I am going to think of a staff
Okay.
for a druid.
A staff for a druid. Okay. Is there a specific one that you're looking for?
I don't know. I don't know what's rare. That's the thing. So I just pulled up something real quick.
I can tell you.
Okay. Staff of the woods.
There's a staff of the woodlands.
I will close my eyes and like, I've read about this in the past. I want
Okay.
to pull it. Try to pull it out.
Using your memory, you can visualize it in your mind. The shard is warm to the touch in your hand, holding out in the palm of your hand, face up. Make an Arcana check.
Okay. 31.
With
Nice.
a 31, there is a brilliant flash of light, and anyone within 15 feet of you is suddenly deafened. Just a moment. Just a moment. Your ears. It's almost as if like they've been pressurized, and as the pressure begins to release, and that brilliant flash of light, your eyesight returns, and in your hand, resting on top of your hand, is a staff. And the staff is a bit gnarled. It's almost as tall as you are, and at the top of it looks like a tree growing out of it. And it looks like this.
Holy crap! Eli like looks at it and like looks at everyone. You saw nothing.
We're all looking. Did we notice it?
Where were you when you did this? It's a small boat.
in the middle of the boat.
Okay, I would say that Ender and Lathana saw a brilliant flash of light coming out of the windows from inside of the cabin, and Auri and Zito, who are sitting inside of the cabin, absolutely got deafened by what you just did. So they would be like, what the heck is going on? Auri would turn around and rubbing her eyes. Auri, you would see this staff now in Eli's hand as he looks a little sheepish, like he's trying to hide it.
I just broke this off a branch.
Are you okay? I felt like I couldn't hear anything for a second there.
Oh, no, everything is fine. As he tried to, like, put the staff behind his back.
If you're sure.
Oh, yes, it's good.
And I'll throw that in your inventory, Dirk.
Ooh, he said this is twice a day.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
He was like looking around.
Now you still have to identify this item.
Oh yes. Oh crap! Yeah, I do.
Would you like to do anything else, Eli, with this shard? Besides make your friends very suspicious of you.
No, not right now.
Okay.
He will smile and start, go to a corner and identify the staff and see if it's real.
It is absolutely real.
And here I'll mark a level 2 slot off as he identifies it.
Okay. Would any of you like to do anything else as we progress into the evening?
Lithana will pull out her book of jokes and tear out a couple pieces of paper, and looks like she's trying to fold something, but that's it.
Okay. What about you? Oh, Ender's not here.
I just sat back down, sorry.
Perfect timing. What would you like to do, Ender, as we progress into the evening? If anything.
Did I miss anything?
I mean, according to Eli, no.
Alright, that's best. Just leave just like that then. Alright, well, I guess are we at a campfire?
No, you're on the ship. The catamaran.
Oh. Okay, so we're staying on the catamaran. Gotcha. Alright, well then, I'm going to meditate and go to bed.
Yes, Ganima has, her engine has to recharge. And it actually recharges at night using moonlight. So she slows the catamaran down, and she lets loose from the center of the platform, there is a large mast, which has a long sail, which she lets out to catch the wind, to push you guys along the river against the current. Depending on which branch of the river you're taking, the current is actually pushing against you right now. So she's trying to get some wind to get up a little bit of speed so that you guys can make some leeway overnight. And she says to all of you, well, I assume that y'all would like to get some rest. I would recommend that a couple of y'all perhaps take up some watches.
I'll take the first one.
Somebody please get Sabrina a tech for that poor microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, man,
All right,
I don't know. I keep buying her new mics and she just breaks them.
Oh my. That poor microphone.
I'll volunteer for first watch tonight.
You'll volunteer for first watch? Okay.
Yeah, first watch, yes.
Just you?
I'll stay up with him.
There's 6 of us, so yeah, I guess 2 every 3 hours? I don't know.
Sure. Lithana will do second watch.
Okay.
Eli will do beauty sleep. And thank you everyone for doing the watches.
So you'll take second watch and have a familiar poke Eli every minute during his beauty sleep.
Oh, you want me to watch? Okay, okay. I will do watch. What watch do you want me to do?
The third watch, Eli.
That's so late. Fine.
Okay. So the first watch goes by, and Auri and Ender. Pretty uneventful, but you're both very tired by the end of your watch. Like, you're both just exhausted.
What are you referring to here? Jeremy, are you making a perverted joke right now? Because Ari is not that kind of elf.
No, I'm just referring to the fact it's been a long day.
Okay, good. I'm glad you didn't get perverted
Mentally draining for Ender. You know, Auri's adjusting to motherhood with her Sporlin. And you all, after the first watch, who's taking the second watch?
I think it was Lathana and I.
Lathana and Zito?
Yep.
Okay. And do either of you talk during your watch? Do you do anything?
And Lethana continues to be folding something with her joke book, but that's it.
What are you doing, Lathana?
I'm making something. And she looks down on, she has this small pile of little origami flowers.
What are the flowers for?
You'll see.
Or what was that? I didn't hear you.
You'll see.
Alright. In that case, Zito's just gonna keep a watch then.
Zito, as the hours go on, up in the sky, you can see the various heavenly bodies, the stars which stretch out. And this part of the world, the sky is just absolutely clear. Unlike in the city of Sharn, where there's sort of a visual light pollution which sort of diffuses the sky. It's a bit familiar to you from your times traveling in the various nations before you connected with this group of individuals. Just being out on the range, it's simple. You hear the sounds, the lapping water, the buzzing insects, the occasional trilling of some sort of a creature off in the distance. And you can see in the sky, it's a beautiful, not quite full moon. And there are various cloud covers that diffuse the light. And you can see in the distance over the edges of the swamp, over the tree covers from the edges of the banks of the river, you can see airships. There are brilliant elemental rings lighting up the night sky in the distance. At least half a dozen of them, very far away from where you are all now, but seem to just be traveling off in various directions, some of them faster than others. But other than that, it's a pretty uneventful watch.
Alright. At the end of his watch, he is gonna go wake up Eli.
5 more minutes.
There is a incessant feeling of, it feels like someone's tapping you near your temple, Eli. Just sort of this thunk, 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 thunk. It almost is like someone is poking you with a finger.
Fine.
And when you open your eyes, there's a raven, glowing eyes, red glowing eyes and it caws in your face.
Ah! Holy crap! I'll like hit it and like push it off her. Away from me! Wave my hands around.
It very deftly just sort of flutters and sort of dances around your hands as you try to hit it and move it out of the way. And then it flutters off, flies off, and lands on top of Zito's head. You can just see Zito just staring down at you disdainfully, shaking his head.
I'm getting up. Fine. I go take a seat and stare at the darkness.
Okay.
Where pull out his box.
Where are you going to on the ship? Where are you making your watch?
In the front, so I can see around.
Okay. Are you going up top or at the very, very front of the catamaran?
I'll go on up top so I guess I can see the whole,
Okay.
360-degree angle.
Sure.
Am I the only one on third notch?
Apparently.
Oh, very good.
What would you like to do on your watch, sir?
Fall asleep.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
Remember, Eli is a captain. I don't do these kind of jobs. Okay. He stays awake. He'll read his book.
Yeah, that little bit of pecking from the raven definitely woke you up. The side of your temple is throbbing right now. And you sit up top, create a light source, and begin reading your book, because it's dark outside.
Yes.
The only light source would be the moonlight, and that's being diffused by some cloud cover.
Okay. Then I might not be able to read a book. I don't really have Is there any, lantern?
There's a couple.
You're a wizard.
There's a couple hanging from hooks at various parts around the outer superstructure of the cabin that's at the center of the catamaran.
I'll, try to, use that light source.
Okay. Zito. And there's, light cantrip. Don't you carry torches?
Or dark elves? Don't they have dark vision?
You're not a dark elf.
Sorry, half elf.
Yeah, you got half. You can't read. You can't read with dark vision.
Oh, you can't read with dark. Okay,
no.
Okay.
Can you?
Because it says you only see in gray, but
yeah, but you can't make out text in the dark.
You can't discern color in darkness. Only shades of gray.
You still can't read.
Yeah. Because it would be all black and white. Yeah, you're right.
Unless it's made in special ink that glows in the dark.
Okay, I wasn't sure how dark vision, if you could see and read. That's why I was like,
no
light So no, I don't have a light cantrip. Ender, go back to bed.
Hear Ender yell out in his sleep. They just say it's light cantrip. Oh.
So I will sit there bored because I can't read in the dark.
Okay. Make another Constitution save, Eli.
Oh, God.
About an hour goes by. Eli, would you like to use one of your inspirations?
Oh, my God. You're going to make a roll inspiration for a night watch? Oh, this DM is evil.
For a con save?
Yeah.
A 12 puts me to sleep? Man, yeah. Eli is really
You're not sure. Let's clarify. You're not sure exactly why I'm asking you for this save.
Oh, okay. Man, Eli's a city boy. I'll use inspiration.
Okay.
Con save?
Yes, sir.
17.
Okay. You're feeling kind of wheezy, or woozy. You're not quite sure. Maybe you've got some allergies. Maybe there's something in the swamp that's in the air. But you feel like you're being watched. You feel like there are eyes on you from all around you.
I pull out the cube.
Okay. When you pull the shard out, it is emitting a light source. It illuminates all around you, and you're realizing, I could have used this to read.
And that's for tomorrow night. And I'm going to think real hard.
Okay.
And pull out a wand of enemy detection. Or think
Okay.
about it.
You're going to think about it. Make make an Arcana check, sir. And make sure you're checking off your inspirations. I did it for you. Okay. All right. You pull out a wand that looks like this. Sort of a twisting, gnarled branch with some sort of crystal or gemstone at the end of it.
And I will spend the next hour attuning, or
Okay.
one, identify, and then two, I think you have to attune to it.
Yes, you need to take a short rest to attune to it, sir.
As he's secretly scared. Slowly holding onto this wand. Please, wand. I know.
About the half-hour mark, if you'd be so kind to roll another Constitution saving throw. Okay. Would you like to use another inspiration?
I'm gonna use luck.
Okay. All right.
17. Oh, so I have 2 left.
Okay. You're able to attune to the wand, and I have identified it for you. As you stare at the prismatic gemstone, which is tipped at the fusion of this twisting of twigs.
Eli will.
What would you like to do?
Speak the command word. Enemy around, and use the wand.
Okay. As you use the wand, you get a sense that there is something under the boat. Something big. And as you're the moment that you do that, there's sort of a shimmering effect underneath the water. You can see something that seems to move away from the ship under the water, swimming upriver away. It's a big something, whatever it is. But you don't sense any other dangers other than that.
It's going away?
It seems to have lost interest, whatever it was.
Okay. So every 7 times, every 10 minutes, enemy...
Eli is holding this wand out for dear life in front of him, looking around by himself. Every time a frog croaks, he whips around and has the wand at ready.
Anything within 60 feet, and it will show me the direction.
Okay. Yeah, occasionally you get a couple of hits of some big gators out in the water. Some of them you can tell are stationary, not moving, right on the banks, away from the ship. Ghanima has the ship angled in such a way that you're not too close to the banks, so that something could potentially try to slip on board the ship. Even raised up a foot above water, anything with enough gumption in it could try to get on the ship. And as you come to the end of your watch, I assume you go back to bed?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Do I wake up anybody? Well, no one told me to wake up anybody, so Eli's just going to go to bed.
Just going to go to bed?
Well, I mean, no one said there's one on 4th watch.
Okay. Eli goes to bed. I will mark all of you as taking a long rest. After the final watch, Eli slipped off to his hammock aboard Ghanim's catamaran and found his rest. The remainder of his companions all snoozing, catching their rest and rejuvenating themselves from the day prior. Ender, you had a dream in which you recalled a time when you received your first sword. Back in the early days of your service to your commander, Zaduk Konton. Remember the excitement that brimmed within you when you held your katana for the first time. Auri, you also had a dream. Recalling a face that you had not thought of for quite some time. His name a bit foreign in your mind. The name of your father, Galen Amastasia. You remember sitting in his workshop, sitting up on his work table, watching your father as he worked away on various bits and bobs and odds and ends, creating various arcane devices, and occasionally teasing you with one of his tools, fake mock-bopping you on the head. These pleasant dreams continued on as you both drifted along the Glum River on Ghanim's catamaran. The sounds of insects trilling out in the swamp stirs you from your restless sleep. Ender, you turn your head and gaze at Auri as she snores softly in her hammock. The air above her shimmers slightly as a thick, mucus-covered tentacle materializes suddenly. The foreign appendage reaches down from its position above Auri and touches her shoulder. Your druid friend suddenly disappears in a puff of dark mist, leaving behind an empty hammock. Before you have a moment to react, an identical tree-trunk-thick tentacle looms over you, blocking your vision. You feel this foreign invader's icy touch as your vision goes dark.
Oh man. Okay, so commence the hentai scene, Jeremy.
Your heads pound as you regain consciousness. Your eyes crack open not to the familiar sight of Ghanim's catamaran. Instead, a circular chamber lined with pods filled with humanoids. As you try to move your body, you realize that you are upright and seemingly paralyzed within one of these pods. Your attention is drawn toward a transparent basin of glowing liquid at the center of the chamber, seemingly the only source of illumination in this place. Tendrils from the pod grip your bodies, but you are numb to their touch for some reason. A secondary source of light temporarily stabs needles in your eyes as a humanoid form suddenly drifts into the chamber, floating inches above the floor. This nightmarish creature, with mauve-colored skin and tentacles draping down from where its mouth should be, drifts over towards the glowing basin, It reaches a clawed hand into the basin and draws something out. Ender, you watch on in shock as the creature drifts towards Auri, unable to cry out, unable to move. It holds up a clawed hand over her head, and some sort of small creature is released, dropping onto her face. Auri, you feel a sudden sharp pain in your eye as something is trying to dig its way into your eye socket. Ender, you suddenly find the will to cry out and rage. Auri's cries are muffled as Auri falls unconscious. The creature turns.
I try to grab its
head.
attention if you allow me.
Okay, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna scream at it. I'm gonna
Okay.
tell it to let me go.
What do you say? Just let me go?
Yeah. But in a more intimidating Ender way.
The creature is wearing a long leather robe, form-fitting, with a raised collar that sort of sticks straight up and frames the bulbous back of its head. It turns to look in your direction, and you see its eyes, this milky white color, with no pupils, suddenly looking at you, and it begins to drift towards you, holding something in its hand. Its right clawed hand cupped over the other.
Can I move?
Unfortunately, you are still paralyzed. This pod is holding you fast, but you may make a strength check if you like.
Of course I would like.
Unfortunately, it holds you fast. The numbness is still starting to fade, but the tendrils, you're able to rip a few of them free. As you rip one or two of them free, 6 to 8 more begin to sprout from the interior of this pod and stab into your flesh. And the creature begins to speak to you, not through its vocal cords or through its mouth, but through some sort of telepathic communication. It scrapes in your mind like nails on a chalkboard. And you hear this voice say, "Most curious. You are of half-blood, yet you do not possess the mark. Tell me, what master do you serve?"
I answer with a meditated, calm mind. Nothing. I say no answer, no nothing. Just keeping my mind nice and clear.
Nice and clear, okay. A few pregnant pauses later, the creature says, "Do you know where the dragon-marked survivors are hiding? If you tell me willingly, you may yet survive as my master's new pet."
I'm going to continue to ignore its attempts to have a conversation with me in my head.
Okay. The creature with the tentacled face now opens its hand, and you can see now a squirming mass at the center of its palm. And a few other smaller grub-like creatures. And it extends its hand out. These little grub-like creatures begin jumping off onto you, finding bare skin and burrowing underneath your skin. It is excruciatingly painful It's as if someone is taking glass and carving tiny little cuts and then pouring vinegar directly into the wound.
I'm gonna start screaming in pain.
And it then begins with the other hand holding up the squirming mass that resembles a tadpole, holding it closer to your head. Come now. Don't fuss. It is of no matter. All will serve my master in time. Especially you and your little half-elf friend. And with that, it releases this grub as it lands on your head and the side of your face, tendrils exploding out from its body as it wraps around the side of your cheekbone, squirming and crawling towards your ear canal. And you feel this sudden horrible sensation and this sucking noise as it begins to enter your ear canal, and then a bit of pain, and then a numbness. And then you feel yourself starting to drift into unconsciousness. And just
This
before
is fucking traumatizing.
Just before that happens, you hear in your mind, God, take the new hosts to a rejuvenation bath. Therefore the tadpoles may do their work. We wouldn't want to damage our new brother and sister now, would we? And with that, you fall unconscious, just as Auri did. An indeterminate amount of time passes. Ender, you feel your toes scraping on some sort of floor. As your eyes blink open, you see what appear to be lizard folk dragging you, two of them, as they've just finished dragging you down this ridged hallway. The surface is slick and wet with a viscous substance. As you gaze around, trying to make some sense of your surroundings, you see Auri being carried, cradled in the arms of another lizard man, just a few steps in front of you. You're both led through a wide door into a chamber with a sloped, vaulted ceiling. You see emaciated humanoids that gather in clusters near the walls, wearing scraps of clothing, some visibly flinching when the lizard-like humanoids drop you onto the floor momentarily. The tentacle-faced lizard folk then place Auri's unconscious form into a glowing vat of yellowish-colored brine. The vat then begins to ascend several feet off of the chamber floor, guided on some sort of track. You then are unceremoniously picked up and plunged into another of one of these tanks, a foul liquid filling your mouth and nostrils. As you cough and sputter this foul, briny substance from your mouth, blowing it from your nostrils, Auri, you are now suddenly awoken as well from the feeling of this somewhat warm, briny liquid coating your form as you pull yourself up on the edge of the vat, your hair drenched in this horrible yellowish liquid. And gaze around, Auri, and you see at the center of the chamber a large polyhedral device, 12 sides on each, protruding from the floor at the center of the chamber. Apertures sealed with glass on each flat section of the device, revealing some sort of fleshy blob suspended in a glowing clear liquid. You watch on and discuss as a few of the individuals in this chamber approach and then draw liquid from hollow nodes attached to the strange dodecahedron, consuming it greedily, lapping this clear liquid. You are left to your own devices as the lizard-like creatures with the similar tentacle drooping from where their faces would normally be file out of the chamber.
Can I move?
Yes, you are currently floating in some sort of bathtub-like device. It's sort of an oval shaped. You're suspended about 10 feet off of the floor on the side of the wall, sort of poking out the side of the wall.
Can I climb out?
Sure, if you'd like to.
That's what I'd like to do. I'll climb out.
It's a simple task to drop down. I don't believe you need to make a check to drop down from 10 feet. But I'll tell you what. Go ahead and if you're just gonna heave ho yourself out of this liquid, you can just make a simple acrobatics check for me. Okay, and are you able to, like a cat, gracefully land on this squishy floor? As you do so, a few of these emaciated creatures, which seem to have been getting closer to this vat that you were in, a few of them just sort of go, eh! And run away from you very quickly. As you look around, gauging the room, the chamber, you look and you see not too far away from where you were, you can see Auri looking a bit bewildered, hanging on within one arm hanging over the edge of this bathtub full of yellow glowing brine that she's sitting in.
I'm going to immediately dig my big orc finger into my ear and dig in my ear, see if I could pull something out.
As you put your hand up to the side of your head, you pull your hand. There's nothing within your canal that you can pull. And when you pull your hand away, there's a little bit of blood, but not much.
I'm going to now immediately rescue Ari.
Okay. Auri, what are you doing while you're sitting in this bathtub?
I'm gonna just look around and try and get out, I guess, or if he's helping me at all.
Okay. As you're looking down, you can see... Now, Ender, you weren't wearing your armor, correct?
I think I was wearing armor when I got... Because
so,
we were on our watch duty, right?
You guys were asleep.
Okay.
I don't remember you guys taking a watch.
Yeah,
I think you guys took... Yeah, I think you guys started your watch, and then Eli was the last watch, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Then yeah, I will be wearing armor if you got me while I was asleep.
Yeah, the only thing I think that you said that you would not part with while you're sleeping is your sword.
That is accurate. Yeah, I'll have my sword on me at all time.
Okay, so yeah, you have your very basic clothing that you sleep in. You have any jewelry you were wearing, your rings, your amulet. Same thing for you, Auri. Anything that you were wearing, your simple items you were carrying. You can sleep in light armor, so if you had chosen to sleep in your leather armor, you can do so.
I think that I would have, though.
Yeah. You wouldn't have?
I mean, it wouldn't really make sense to sleep in armor.
Okay. I will remove it. So Auri's just wearing like a simple dress, like she usually wears?
Say so.
Okay. As you're looking around, Auri, you see a couple of feet away from you a 3-foot wide opening in the side of the sloping, rough, resin-like wall. And you can see the track that the vat is attached to, which seems to go up like a frame towards the ceiling. In the dark, you can see that it creates this lattice pattern all the way up. And you can see your companion Ender down on the ground below you. And before you begin to call out to him, though, you hear a odd voice as someone is speaking to you from that 3-foot wide aperture. And Jen, would you like to describe your character?
Sure. Hello. So, my character is she is a halfling. She's about 3.5 feet tall. She's kind of plain looking. She's just got like reddish brown hair. her face has a lot of freckles all over it. She's a little dirty right now. She is a monk, so she's got just traditional like gray and yellow clothing. And I think that's it.
And this would be...
Where do we see this halfling?
The halfling is poking her head out of this 3-foot wide hole in the side of the wall, looking at Owry and gazing about the chamber.
Hello?
Hi there. She pops her head back in for a minute. You hear some like rustling around. And then she kind of flies out as if she's like thrust herself out of the hole. Oh. And who are you?
I'm Ari. Who are you?
The name's Mookie. But you could call me Mook.
Where are we?
Well, that's hard to say. We're currently prisoners, if you didn't realize. Does Mookie actually know, like, where they are?
Oh, yes. Mookie knows that she is on a vessel called the Nemesis. A submersible, nautiloid creation.
Well, little lady, we're on some kind of ship, vessel, if you will. It's called the Nemesis. Unfortunately, I can't tell you exactly where we are. We're still in the Shadow Marches. But, I don't know, does that ring a bell to you?
Oh, the Shadow March was sure, but the rest of that, not really.
And, how did you come to be here?
I don't really know. That's my friend over there. Maybe he knows.
Can I hear them talking?
You can. You're not so far away that you can't hear them conversating. There's muffled like mutterings and some gibbering coming from individuals around the chamber. Occasionally you hear someone call out like a sharp like cry, like they're stifling a sob or something.
I'm going to call out to the little halfling. What happened to us? What are these things? What crawled inside?
Who crawled inside of you?
And I'm going to be digging at my ear.
Well, you can dig all you want, but that's not really going to do you any good. And Mookie's going to start walking around the walls, kind of feeling her way around. She's looking for another place to, another place she can make a hole.
Well, the holes themselves are natural occurrences. To the best of your knowledge, they appear to function as a means of providing fresh air into the chamber. The air itself in this chamber is very humid, and it's hot in here. It's uncomfortably hot. And not too far away from Ender, Zaraj, Yaliak, Ramalia, and Kafeda. You see these newcomers that the lizard hybrid creatures brought in and unceremoniously plunged into the rejuvenation tanks. And you can see now this orc is looking around and gazing around the chamber, and just beyond him you see one of the Grangulus dwarfs, emaciated dwarf, is holding some sort of a katana that was dropped on the floor by one of the guards. And you see a moment of opportunity to gain another weapon.
I do.
These four do. Ender, you realize very quickly that your sword is not at your side. The simple leather strap that you used to hold the sheath to yourself came undone, and as you look around the chamber, you also see this individual, this very, very gaunt-looking dwarf with a scraggly beard, holding your sword up. Just sort of, ha, ha, ha.
I'm going to demand for it back.
No. And he continues to run around. There's a little dark-skinned gnome who is following around and leaping up, trying to like reach up and grab the sword away from him. And there's another dwarf who is leaning up against the side of the wall. And when this first dwarf exclaimed and crawled out, he just like wakes up and it's like, "Oh, what have you got there, Thorvin? Oh!" And this, when you call out to him, Ender, this dwarf stops. He looks at you, holding the sword out, not in a defensive stance, but more like he's holding a torch. And he looks to you, and he looks at the sword. He says, "You want this?"
I'm going to nod. Yes.
"How much it'll pay for it?"
Take things that don't belong to you. Drop it.
"Ah, little one."
Spare your life.
"Spare my life? There's nothing much to spare. At leastways, look around you, stranger. You are in Kizak's domain."
If you don't give it back, I'll make you drop it.
Kazaks?
Kirzak.
Tell me who Kirzak is.
Kirzak, one of the Devourers. The Flayers. You're on his ship.
Does he normally let his prisoners roam free?
Oh no, there's no leaving this chamber. Unless you want to go scuttling about those holes like little Mookie likes to do.
I do want to start scuttling around these halls, like Mookie seems to do.
Well, you could start scuttling, but it's not going to lead you nowhere except back here. Trust me, I've scuttled my way through almost every inch of this place.
Yaliak, Zaraj, Ramalia, and Kafeta, you're all watching this exchange going on from your position within the chamber. You've in your time in this place, you've found it to be in your best interest to band together, considering what you have experienced so far. And Yaliak, would you like to describe yourself? Yaliak is a female human.
Yes, sorry. You see before you a red-headed, long-braided lady with wearing a, well, used to be a nice blue-looking garb, but now it's all tattered. And she still has this funny-looking guitar things on the back, strapped to her back.
And Yalik, as you look over, you feel a twinge of pain as the collar that's around your neck and your fellow companions of the spellcasting variety just seems to numb the side of your neck where the cold metal touches your skin. And Zaraj, would you like to describe your character?
Kind of greenish tusk on his coming out from his face. It's kind of rough and tumbly, tall, and has a overly sized bow with a quiver full of overly sized arrows.
And Zaraj is also sporting one of those fancy metal collars around his neck. And
I'm gonna look towards the dwarf. And first, I'm gonna look towards these two new people. I'm gonna wave at them, and then I'm gonna look at the dwarf and tell him, "This is not how we become friends. Give me my sword now."
There's no friends here. Only meat. Ah! And he runs at you with the sword.
I laugh, and I'm going to kill him.
Okay. I will throw him in the combat tracker for you to attack. He's rushing straight at you with the sword out.
That's okay.
You can go ahead and roll for initiative if you like, Ender.
I would like to also, because I would like to.
Okay. You are still in the tub filled with briny fluid.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'd like-
How am I, though?
Yaliak,
Zaraj.
Zaraj, Mookie, Romalia, Kafeda, you've all seen this time and time again as individuals within this chamber over the last few days slowly lose their minds and attack each other. Auri, you're about 10 feet up off of the ground. The dwarf is about 20 feet away from you when it started its sprint towards Ender.
Is she submerged? Could she cast?
Oh, she can totally
Yep.
cast.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I will move it.
It's like, have you ever sat in a tub upright and tried to do something? It's kind of awkward, but you can still do stuff. If you guys want to claim your characters, I can drop your sheets for your NPCs onto you.
Okay.
I'm going to have to change all of them to friendly. Here we go. I think I got everybody in there. So yeah, if you guys claim your characters from the character selection, I can drop your individual NPC sheets onto you, and you'll be able to see it. Like, for example, there you go. Did you see that pop up, Ashley?
Yeah.
Okay. And Ryan, there you go. Does that pop up for you, Ryan?
Yeah.
Awesome. And I'm just waiting for Sabrina and Derek to claim their characters, and I'll drop their sheets.
Where do you?
on them.
How do you?
Go
Oh,
on,
you have to claim my character.
Yeah, you got to claim your character.
Okay.
There we go. And this is just so that I can give you guys access to your character sheets. Like, for example, there you go, Sabrina.
Thank you kindly.
And last but not least, there you go, Derek.
Oh, thank you.
And answer to your question, unfortunately, your bow is broken, Zaraj.
Oh, my bow is broken.
Yeah, no. But
Then I'm gonna beat this dwarf.
you and your companions have been able to fashion weapons from bones, scattered bones, and bits of straps of old leather. You've all been able to fashion weapons that resemble weapons that you would normally carry. For those of you who are spellcasters, you're all wearing arcane dampening devices that have prevented you thus from casting your spells, unfortunately. So I will say that this would be the the surprise round, if you will. So, Auri, you can go first.
I'm gonna cast Heat Middle on the sword.
Okay. You can go ahead and
so-
target him and then cast the spell.
How can I target him?
If you
click on the combat tracker and then just shift click his name. And it's Thorvin, the little stocky prick.
Okay, yeah, I have him. Okay.
There you go.
Okay, I guess.
Okay. So as you cast your hand out, doing the vocal and somatic, the blade of the sword begins to heat up, and Thorvin's hands, the flesh begins to melt from his fingers, and his eyes begin to glow an ethereal blue, and his skull splits open, and a brain with legs, 4 of them, leaps forth, covered in reddish matter and blood and gore, landing on the ground, and then skitters off, running up the side of the wall into one of the 3-foot wide apertures that line the walls near the vats of brine. He is quite dead, the sword clattering on the ground, smoking slightly as the reddish blade begins to no longer glow white hot.
Yeah,
Alright,
I
so
dropped concentration, so it's no longer hot.
Ender is going to look terrified, wide-eyed, and dig in his ear again.
I just wanted to make him drop it.
In answer to your question, Eli, they're not wearing collars.
Oh, okay.
And as soon as you do that, near the door, you can hear now someone calling out in this reverberating voice throughout the chamber. It says, "Fetch one of the dampening collars for the new arrivals."
I'm going to approach my katana, and I'm going to give it a small nudge with my big orc toe. Is it still warm to touch?
It has cooled off. It's a little warm, but not uncomfortably so.
I'm now going to kneel down and tap it with my hand.
It's a little warm to the touch, and there's a little bit of a scorch mark on it from Auri's spell, just from where the blade meets the pommel and the haft of the sword.
I'm gonna lick the side of my finger, pick up the sword with my other hand, and rub off the scorch mark.
Okay. Yeah, it rubs off. It's like soot.
You know,
I just meant to make him drop it.
you know, you might want to hand that to me, because when they come in to put the little collar on you, they'll take it away from you.
How could I trust you? I'm gonna take my sword and just take a couple steps back.
Look, can you show me into one of your little hiding holes? I think I need to go in there now.
There's the sound of the gibbering becomes more intense as more of the creatures that were gangrelous, scrap-wearing creatures are now scattering away from you and Ender as you pick up the weapon. And you can see now these hulking creatures that just seem to materialize out of the walls. Like there's this sucking, horrible sucking noise as they begin to emerge from the walls. And they have no eyes. Their bodies are bulbous and distended in areas. And they have this long, scraggly hair that drapes down from the top of their head in mismatched patterns. And they emerge from the walls with these large sponges on sticks. And they begin to clean the sides of the vats, the various vats spread throughout all the walls around the room. And they seem to pay you no nevermind. The places in which each of them emerged from it almost seemed like they were a part of the wall themselves. And the void which is created as their body came away from the walls now fills in and moves slightly, as if like a breathing sensation almost.
Weird. This whole place is very alien-like.
Get used to it.
I would very much like to not get used to it. How long have you guys been here?
I stopped counting days a long time ago.
Ramalia, you have watched this almost longingly watch this newcomer who is still suspended 10 feet above the ground in this vat of brine speak the components and make the signs to summon some sort of magical ability which killed the dwarf that had taken this sword from off of the ground. And would you like to describe your character, Ramalia?
Sure. Ramalia is a elf. She's wearing probably like some kind of tattered, like red-orange sort of robes. Looks kind of military. Brown hair up in a messy kind of bun. And she's just kind of looking longingly at the dead body, wishing that she was killing people too.
And Kafeda, you watch on as your lover is across the chamber still, scrunched up, hugging the wall, gripping the sides of her head and crying from across the chamber. She hasn't responded to you since you've come to this place. And would you like to describe your character? Go ahead.
Yeah. Kafeda is not necessarily, she's a tall, skinny woman. She is physically fit and very flexible. Almost like you would have seen her on the city streets performing in front of taverns before being, well, caught up in here. And she's going to definitely get up on her feet and move over to her lover's side and place a hand on her, trying to comfort her.
And as you get closer to her, she calls out, "No! I want to go home. I want to go home. Why did we leave the ship? Why?"
So we'll get out soon, I promise. We'll be home. Everything will be okay.
And she continues, eyes wide, skin pasty, staring at you like a trapped animal, and goes back to holding her head. And there is sort of like a undulating sound, this sort of a burbling noise. And there's a pocket of air releases within the dodecahedron device at the center of the chamber, and the fleshy mass within it moves slightly. There's a separation between the top and the bottom, as the top is separated seemingly by a pocket of air, and there's this viscous green fluid. But at the bottom, about a third of the way down, is a clear liquid, and several of the individuals who are within the chamber now rush up to begin lapping up this clear liquid as it begins emitting from the nodes which are around the device. And of course, those of you who've been here for a while would know that this is the only source of water and nutrients that any of you have had access to for several days now.
Calfeda is going to move in and collect some of the nutrients and give it to. I'm sorry, Mark.
Margot?
Romalia will walk up as well, and she'll kind of like stop and look to Ari and say, "You best keep your energy up. This is the only food you'll find in this hellish place."
So let me get this straight. You're all people from outside the ship, and you're all prisoners here, right?
That's
no,
right.
I chose
youngin'.
to take a vacation to this place. What do you think?
Well, they don't have us separated, which is very unusual.
We're hardly a threat, weaponless in these damned collars.
And as she says that, you notice that she is clutching some sort of makeshift dagger that seems to be made of bone. And as she says that, Romalia, you feel almost feel protective over this only source of weaponry that you've had access to.
So, does anyone have any ideas on how we could possibly escape? I see. So that's a no.
You should get used to this place.
Do we know how long we've been here?
Time is a little funny for you. Since you've been in this place, it's you've kind of lost track. You know that it's not been more than a week for any of you. For most of you, I should say. But the substance which you've, for those of you who have been here, it has subsisted you so much so that you don't have any sort of exhaustion. This is syrup. It's like trying to swallow syrup. It's like sugar water if it were viscous.
Ooh. Yum.
Calfeda would approach the group and look at Ari and says, "You cast a spell earlier before, haven't you?"
I don't know if it's a question. And I'll just get really close to him and whisper and be like, "How did the rest of them get collars on them?"
DM, how did the rest of them get collars? Did they come in and put collars on them?
Yes, one by one, these nightmarish, lithe creatures wielding this strange, mind-numbing force rendered all of you incapacitated, and as they place these collars around your necks, one by one, for all of you who can perform magic, for you spellcasters.
Yes, they're gonna come in and they're gonna put collars on which of you can cast spells. But I think that might be our best opportunity to find an escape. If we can take one of them out, one of them might be carrying the keys and get everyone else out of here.
There is another burbling noise that comes from the dodecahedron as you say that, and you all hear something murmuring from that device at the center, which seems to be the source of that nutrient, water.
Have we heard that before? The ones who've been here?
Occasionally. Mookie, you would know a little bit more about it than the others, because you saw them put what resides within it into it.
And what resides in it?
What resides in it is some sort of aberrant creature that is spherical in nature and has these appendages that come off of it with little orb-like eyes.
Disgusting.
Well, pay no mind to that sound. Once upon a time, they threw something in there. I'm not really sure what it was, but it was definitely horrifying.
You remember your captors, Mookie, referring to it as Zesh the Broken.
They called it Zesh, whatever it was. Zesh the Broken, if I recall.
Amalia just kind of sneers. Well, there goes my appetite. Thank you, Mookie.
I'm just sharing information.
And as you're looking across the chamber towards that device, you can see now a large glowing eyeball pressed up against one of the apertures on the side of this 12-sided polyhedral device. And it seems to be the pupil is focused, and it seems to be gazing and looking at each of you as this conversation has been going on.
Mookie will just avert her eyes.
Calfito will leave the group and go back to her lover.
Okay. And what are the rest of you doing?
I'm staring at it.
Same. I'm inspecting it.
You're inspecting the dodecahedron?
I'm gonna try to pronounce it. Dodecahedron.
How are you inspecting it? Are you getting closer to it?
Not at first. I'm looking at it, and then I would like to approach it slowly.
Okay. As you get closer to it, you notice that besides this aperture, the side you're closest to, you can see more of the orb-like eyes with the vertical slits for pupils, which are crowding the aperture closest to the side you're facing and all looking at you as you get closer to it. And there's a murmuring, burbling noise coming from the dodecahedron, seeming to emerge. This burbling noise coming out of the spouts and coming out of the top. You can see now that there is a few tubes that seem to be letting in oxygen into this tank. This tank does not appear to be airtight. And as you get closer now, you can hear something speaking to you.
I listen.
And as you get closer to it, the murmuring, burbling voice says, "Who approaches? The mighty Zesh."
Ender.
Ender. Newcomer. Guest of the Mind Flayers. Welcome. Are you here for my coronation?
What did you put inside me? What did you put inside that dwarf?
That was not my doing.
Is that going to be my fate?
The eyes regard you, as if it's looking through you.
All who are claimed by Nihilor feel his touch. If you are judged worthy, they choose you to be their thralls. It is a painful process, a ceremorphosis, a transformation. You will not survive.
How do I stop that? How do I stop this?
How do you stop something from eating away at your very brain matter? The easiest way would be to let someone take your life and use magic to resurrect you. If it's possible. Or, depending on how long the creature has been inside of you, you could attempt to extract it, but you will find no tools in this place to do so. You will have to escape if you wish to free yourself from the tadpole.
Yes. Escape. How would I do that?
You are surrounded by powerful individuals. Those who have been diminished by the power of the Orphean, the creature which resides at the single point.
And the eyes, half a dozen of them, begin to drift up, looking upwards, above, up and out through the apertures above at the top of the dodecahedron.
The Orphean is what controls the collars. If you could destroy the Orphean, then perhaps your newfound companions could help you escape. I could also escape and aid you. I could blast a hole in the side of that wall over there.
And you watch as the tentacles, the eyes on the end of them, begin to drift off towards, and you're not sure north, south, east, or west, but the wall directly behind you, one of the long walls.
You would have to get to it, of course. The walls are slick and difficult to climb without equipment, unless you have the ability to fly, of course.
Zash, is it what you seek as well, an escape?
I seek oblivion, and to bring those who have done this to me to their demise.
And you notice as you're watching this creature in the dodecahedron, one of its tentacles seems to fall off of the side of its body and slowly float down into the air bubble that separates the different colored liquid from the clear liquid at the bottom of the dodecahedron.
I am slowly becoming one of their thralls. It won't be long before I will be able to help you. You must move quickly. You are the first to attempt to communicate with me from this rabble.
Is there any possible way I can bring Zash with me? Like, I don't quite understand the dodecahedron. God, I don't even know what that word is.
Well, all right. The best way I could describe it, imagine if you took a meatball and you put it inside of one of those old-fashioned cages that you would put in like a dryer with like dryer stuff in it. It's like a 12-sided die, a hollow metal 12-sided die that it's suspended in, if you will.
Is there any way I could bring him with?
Do you want to ask him if he'll come with you?
Yes, I'll ask him.
There is a pause for a moment, and the creature regards you and says,
My fate is sealed, Ender. I would only become a threat to you. I am an aberrant creature, but I am more than my brethren. I was powerful. I was mighty. I controlled the Zeskild and Sharn for many years. But I was betrayed. And now the tadpole has nearly finished its work.
How much time do you have?
Enough time to destroy this thing. This vessel. This Leviathan.
Enough time for us to destroy this thing.
I would not linger in this place. This thing is but a fraction of the power at command of Nihilor and his allies.
I'm gonna look above. Like he said there is some kind of an escape up above, like a tunnel. How wide is it? Is there enough space for a bird to take me up there by chance?
He didn't say a tunnel. He referred to something called he called a Europhian. And when you look up towards the ceiling, you see some sort of cone-shaped mass, which is angled straight down towards the floor of the chamber, and it's slowly moving around up there. And you can see it splays out, and it seems to be climbing on the ceiling, shifting around up there. Can't really make much out other than its shape with your dark vision. There's no light source near the ceiling.
How high up is it?
The chamber looks to be at least 40 feet high. And the ceiling is sloped in areas, so give or take a few feet as the sides of the ceiling slope downward towards the walls, where these vats of brine are suspended. The vats of which, not all of them are empty. Some of them seem to have some sort of humanoid resembling those lizard-like creatures that brought you and Auri into this chamber. They seem to be laying in there, suspended within the fluid.
Well, is Ari out of her tub yet?
I don't know, Auri, are you still taking a bath in that tub?
Yeah, I would be out by then for sure.
I'm going to point up at this thing up on the ceiling and ask Ari if she can get a better look.
I can try, but if they see me, we may blow it.
We don't have many options right now. We seem to be prisoners. I have no idea how we got here, or how we got separated from our amazing comrades who are so special and great.
Okay.
Maybe something that can climb. Maybe something that can fly. I guess if you want to avoid being seen, probably something that can climb these walls.
Not to mention, you have a handful of individuals who are not gibbering and sounding crazy. Some of which you've noticed seem to be carrying makeshift tools and weapons.
Is that gonna be my new friends Yelik, Ramalia, Mookie, and Kefid?
Possibly.
I'm going to look to them. Mookie first, and ask Mookie, what is up there? I'm gonna point at the cylinder thing, the cone.
Does Mookie actually know?
Mookie has seen the creature, and Mookie would know that for the longest time that Mookie has been in this place, that thing has resided within this chamber. Although this is the first time that it has been referred to as what Zesh called it, the Europhian.
Well, Ender, to be honest, it's the first time I've heard it called a Europhian. But I can tell you, it's been up there the entire time I've been here.
Is it dangerous?
Well, it hasn't really bothered me, but everything in here is dangerous, to be quite honest.
Have you ever got up close to it?
Up there? No, I haven't made it up there yet. But I'm here to help you get out, as long as you guys can help us get out.
That's the idea, is to escape. I'm going to look to the rest of the other three and ask them if they have anything to contribute.
Escape? I'll help.
This is
But if you die, I want that sword.
I'm gonna balance the sword in my hand and say, it's balanced. It's a great sword. I'm going to lift it up and say, it's yours if I die.
He smiles a little bit. Deal.
Romalia will kind of like reach up and touch her collar thing. Say, I'd be much more use if we could find a way to get these collars off, but I do have this dagger, as barbaric as that is.
yes. Okay.
Margot calls out, I want to go home.
Yeah, because, if y'all are gonna help, I can help too. I can inspire y'all a little bit if it helps.
Unfortunately, Yaliak, you are also wearing one of those collars.
Oh, just kidding. God.
Yes, and I'll do whatever I can to help us escape, as long as Margot can help it or come with us.
Of course. And I'm going to point at Ari and say, how do we deal with that? Up there. Should we... I'm gonna ask Zash, my new friend, what the heck a Europhian is.
A Europhian?
I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. but what Mookie was telling me.
Oh, okay. Zesh would tell you that the Erophian is a creature that is created through a similar metamorphosis that the mind flayers use to make more of their thralls. To make more of them, it's a process called seromorphosis. And they put these tadpoles into a creature, and depending on the type of creature, it spawns these aberrant thralls. Europhian looks like this.
Lord.
Oh man, why couldn't it look like a teddy bear? Ani, that's the thing that I asked you to go up and approach. So good luck with that. I would go up there with you, but half-orcs can't fly yet.
So yeah, they're fairly unique in the types of creatures that the mind flayers create. This is an unlikely organism from what they typically create. In regards, like, for example, the lizard kind that you've seen that have this strange mutation on their heads that make them resemble the flares. And Zesh tells you that this creature is a sentinel in this chamber. And you notice with your dark vision that it appears to have something attached at the very tip of its cone-like head. It doesn't look like the rocky, bioorganic body. It looks foreign, mechanical. But you can't really make out much from this distance, even with your dark vision.
Well, guys, I think step one is probably killing whatever that is.
Killing it? How are we even gonna get up there? More than me, I mean.
Does anyone else have any ideas?
How far up?
How
It's 40 feet up above us.
about how big is this creature?
It's pretty big.
Yeah.
It's it looks like a traffic cone from hell. Blackish colored skin. It's about as tall as, say, a house. So it's about 9 to 10 feet tall. And wide at the base.
Wait, you
Where
said
is
it was
its
made of.
base?
So it had like a metal tip.
Yeah, it almost looks like
or-
Ender sees what it looks like, some sort of I guess you would call a hat, like it's wearing a hat.
Why don't you
Well,
do the
babe-
same thing we did with that dwarf and the sword and cast a spell on it?
Maybe you could aim for that piece.
You know, you remind me of a small kobold for some reason. Kefeta.
I get that a lot, even though I'm the size of 3 kobolds.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
3 kobolds and a coat.
I think it's your reasoning, and you're smart.
Quiet, D. I'm not gonna figure it out.
Young lady, you said your name was Ari?
Yeah.
I have this broken bow. They don't have a collar on you. Do you have anything that could help me?
I don't have any weapons on me, if that's what you
No magic mending.
mean. No. Ending, unfortunately.
It was worth a try. Kind of just pouts, sits down in the corner and pouts.
Can we get a move on? The sooner we get out of here, I think the better off we'll all be.
Now that I know what this enemy is, it's hanging upside down. Am I understanding that correctly?
I think so.
It's like hanging there above us in this big, huge room. We're in like this 40-foot high room. It looks like we're just in a big chamber, a large chamber that's. This guy is just hanging out in the middle. And it took me so much energy just to understand where the frick I was, because it's a very alien-like environment. It's not like you wake up in a cell, brick by brick, you're surrounded. It's like it's a living organism. It has tunnels that just magically appear, and it's really confusing.
Yeah, those are mind flare ships for you.
It's my first time being in one. And I got a macaroni in my ear.
What? Oh. I wasn't sure if you were talking as Ender or as Adam, and I was like, what did he do?
Yeah, I have literally macaroni in my ear. I don't know what to do. In-game and out-of-game.
Just think, man. Eli's peacefully sleeping on the ship.
Yeah, but Yelly, are you Yelly or are you Remelia? Which one are you? Who are you, Derek?
He's Zeraj.
Yeah, I'm Zeraj.
Zeraj? What race are you?
Half orc. That's why I want your sword. I'm worthy.
Let me see. Well, if you want my sword, you have to help me die. Never mind. Escape.
You kind of like giving him the wrong motivation. He could just kill you right.
I just.
He also saw what I did to the guy who tried to take his sword.
Right? She turned him into, like, you know, a dead dwarf.
Yeah, just wait till the caller comes on, lady.
So, guys, you think our best bet here is to fight the thing hanging from the ceiling?
Didn't the Zesh thing say something about blowing up a wall?
He
He did
did.
say that. I don't understand what that would accomplish, though. Would we be able to escape through that wall? Because
I mean, we might be able
as
to
far as
find a
we-
path to get up to the room that other one's in.
there we
Yeah,
go. That's
Zest didn't really elaborate on what that meant. It just said that it would create an access of escape for you by blowing a hole in the wall once you dealt with the Erophian.
Oh, we had to deal with it first. Could you? Since it's wearing a metal hat, just literally just cast that spell over and over again on it.
That's what I told
No.
her.
Yeah,
DM.
it's a really good idea.
Question is, can she see it? She doesn't have dark vision.
Ooh.
Do
Ari doesn't have dark vision?
Me?
She
Dark
does
vision?
not.
How do I not?
Isn't Ari an elf or a half elf?
Half elf.
She's half elf. She does not have dark vision. Half elves don't have dark vision.
What?
Oh, you know what?
Half elves do have dark
That's
vision.
that's freaking weird. It says you don't, but it's right here on your thing.
Definitely do. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't.
Let me fix that. I don't know why that is not on your sheet.
Because remember last time we were deciding if Eli could read in the dark with dark vision.
It's true.
Because he's a half elf, but you said it was only gray. It was only shades of gray.
Yeah, it's shades of gray for sure. Yeah, I don't know why it's not on your sheet. I put it on your sheet for you. Sorry about that.
Apology not accepted. Now help us out of here.
So, Ari, you would also, after it's pointed out to you, you would see the creature climbing on the ceiling. Now, whether or not you could make out and you would know that what it's wearing is metal, All you know is that it appears to be not its body. Whatever it is appears to be on it. You're not sure what it's made of.
DM, question.
Yes.
Aside from the tools and jazz that we have in the chamber, do any of us have any of our weapons? Like, do I have my little throwing thing?
You would have your darts. Yes, they were tucked away inside of your stuff.
Okay.
Anything small, like a dart, you'd be able to conceal fairly easily. Other weapons for all the other survivors within this chamber would have been taken from them. And over the last few days, you've all been essentially scavenging from materials in this chamber to create makeshift weapons. And for the most part, your captors have not... They almost seem to ignore your feeble attempts to create weapons. Strangely enough, completely ignored Ender's sword. But of course, the rest of you would know that eventually that would be taken from him.
Yeah, by what? Come on, they gotta send something after me so I can just stab it.
Are we all back?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
Guys, I'm dropping the accent, by the way. Anyways, y'all to look around and, see if you can find, like, a bone or something she can sharpen, or if she has to, she'll rip off the arm of the dwarf if she has.
Can we? Oh my god, that's...
Oh my god.
Yeah,
well,
that's
hey, man,
green,
you've been
everyone.
here for a while.
Well, Yaliak, you would, looking on your sheet, which I have dropped on you, you would see that you have been able to make a makeshift bone short sword.
Can we... Can we... We have to decide how to take out Eurofian.
I mean, can we knock it off the ceiling? Or damage its hat?
How high up there is it?
It's dangling 40 feet above you.
And that thing's controlling, I think you said, the collars as well?
And that's what Zesh said to Ender.
The bird's riding a bicycle again.
Ender is furiously pedaling around the chamber on a makeshift bicycle made of bones.
Oh my god.
It's his new bicycle.
I'm so upset. Urgh.
You guys thought that Ender and Auri were just going to do it, didn't you?
Yeah, can we just have the uncomfortable sex stuff now?
Just get it over with.
All right, guys, what are you doing?
Guess we're waiting for Ari to cast a spell or something.
No, this is what we're doing, guys. I'm gonna challenge it. Don't, oh my god, behind me, Ani. Jeez, I want your support. Don't. She just literally, as I said that, she's like, oh my god.
Challenge it to what? A dance?
Dance
will
off,
it
bro.
accept that?
You and me. He's about to pull off a Star-Lord, guys. Watch.
I'll play the music. Forcing.
Don't want to get copyright strike. All right, so what are you guys doing? Time is passing. Both Ender and Auri have pounding headaches. Occasionally you hear someone sobbing or crying or gibbering or laughing in the background. as Ender
What?
picks up chunks of
Is there-
of stone or bone or something and hurls it against the wall.
I wonder, Ari, if you could somehow transform into a something that could climb and stealthily travel up there and see if there's any way to dislodge the Arirolfian. I mean, it seems to be connected into the wall. Maybe if we loosen something, it could just a slight imbalance to it could make it fall.
Can try.
Surely it's not growing out of the ship. I mean, it's attached by its head.
Okay, but we have to make sure that those guys with the color on me can't see me. Do it. It seems to
What are you gonna turn into?
Something.
I could turn into a spider and go up there.
Are you gonna turn into a giant spider?
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to get like very, very close to Ender, like uncomfortably close, to the point where like if you were looking into the room, you'd see him, but you wouldn't see me.
Okay.
And then turn into a giant spider.
Okay. Auri steps forth
Ender
close,
is going
close
to
to Ender.
freak the hell out.
What kind of spider are you turning into?
It's a giant spider. I have it already. I pulled it out. I've had it sitting out for a minute. It's got +7 to stealth and.
So, just so you know, Auri becomes this.
Ew. I start crying.
Ugh.
This is it.
This is what you're into, orc man.
I go, don't, and I push him. Shut up, you. And we share a laugh together, and then me and
Ender, you feel a
this
bit of
half-orc become best friends.
you feel a bit of kinship with Zaraj.
I'll have to write a song about that someday. The half orc and the spider. True
What-
love forever.
What village are you from, Zaraj?
It's a good question. Where is Zaraj from?
Zaraj. Sorry.
Mr. DM, where am I from?
Tell me about your clan.
Zaraj.
Tell me about your backstory. I want at least 8 paragraphs.
As Jeremy sent me a one line.
No double spacing. That's cheating.
I'm surprised you didn't become a flying spider, Auri. I have stats for that. I have stats for that too.
What's the crit rating though? Because I'm pretty sure I can remember that.
No worries. I don't think that you've ever seen a giant flying spider.
Only in their nightmares.
Only in
Yeah.
the
I was gonna say
nightmares.
anyone who has died.
This current nightmare I'm having right now. Okay, so I'm gonna stealthily move up there towards it.
Okay. Make a stealth
man,
check.
Not smart. You should not have done that.
You're telling me to do that.
It's too late now. You're doing it. I just really
I'm
wish
very
you had it.
stealthy.
That's not a good roll. It's not good enough.
So the massive spider, which is still coated in the viscous yellowish brine all over its body, begins crawling up the side of the wall, up the domed ceiling towards the top. And as you get closer to the creature, you can see that it very much so resembles that of a traffic cone, upside down, hanging from the ceiling. And as you get closer to it, it seems to shiver, and a large central red eye opens. that glows red in the darkness. And the illumination from the eye casts a little bit of dim light, which allows you to see this purple helmet, which is encrusted in crystals at various intervals all over it. It's like on the very end of this traffic cone shaped creature. And you see a larger crystal which is centered just above the eye. What would you like to do, Auri the spider?
Yeah, Ari the spider. Good luck.
I'm really mad right now that Ender made me go up there.
It does not appear to notice you.
You can do it. She whisper yells.
I'm gonna try and examine to see if I can tell if any of it seems like it would be a weak spot on it that I could like.
The traffic cone, or what it's wearing on the end of it.
Wearing.
I should say,
knock it off.
It's party hat, if you will.
His hat. I want to see if I can knock his hat off.
Make an investigation check. With a 12, you get the feeling that whatever this is seems to be gripping directly into its skin. As you look close, you can see it looks like there are parts of this party hat, if you will, which are driving directly into the skin of this creature, as if it's gripping or growing out of its head. And it does resemble metal. Purple metal. In fact, it looks an awful lot like Ender's sword. The metal that his sword is made of.
I'm gonna go back down.
Okay, make another stealth check.
Even better. Oh, just kidding. Worse. Way worse.
It still didn't notice you. You're able to climb down the side of the wall, back down to the floor in your spider form.
Okay. And I'm going to turn back into regular.
Regular old Auri? Okay.
Yep. And I'm going to instruct those people, everyone that I've been talking to get a little bit closer.
Okay.
Romalia moves closer.
I think I can use that same move that I used earlier up there. But I need to not get caught. So, what do you guys think? Should we?
I'll guard you.
Okay.
Did you notice anything up there?
Well, it was this creature that was kind of cone-shaped, and it had this purple metal helmet on, this purple metal hat on. And I think if I go for that maybe I can either get it to drop down or
Purple metal, like
your sword.
And I look to see what the collars are made of. Are the collars made of purple?
They do appear to have a purplish hue to them.
Does that mean that thing is also imprisoned? Well, that doesn't matter. We need to kill it so Dash can help us.
All right, what are you guys doing? What's the plan?
Can I go for it?
You gonna go for it?
Let's go for it.
Yeah, I will try to use heat metal on it.
Okay, let me throw it onto the tracker so you can target it.
Okay, I'm actually going to do that. How do I add a level onto there without it?
What's that?
How would I do it at third?
Okay. What you do is when you grow to grab the damage die after you cast it, you right click to add a die. That would be to add an extra level of damage. However that spell is, whether it adds another die or more than one.
Alright, I drop it first though, so I can.
Yeah, you want to target him, and then you hit the cast button.
I think I'm targeted.
Yep, it looks like you have him targeted. And that's a failure on the creature.
That's not good.
It rolled a 10 on its con save. So it will take damage because it cannot drop that that thing that is attached to it.
I rolled a 10, but my spell save DC is 12.
Yep. So it failed.
Oh, okay. Good. Okay, got it. And that's the damage.
Okay. So you all hear this ear-splitting shriek that echoes throughout the chamber. And the creature, there's a burst of motion as tendrils unfurl from its cone-like body and begin writhing and slapping out and reaching out in all different directions. And within a moment, the creatures that are within the baths and the creatures that have no eyes, just covered up sockets, all begin looking around the chamber. And the creatures begin pulling themselves out of the baths. And I need all of you to roll initiative. I will roll initiative for our friends who cannot roll initiative.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I will throw you all on the map. If you would all be so kind as to position yourselves on the map for me.
Is there an initiative button?
Oh no, I rolled it for you.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I'm gonna give you guys a map. You guys can position yourselves on the map, and then I will drop the creatures onto the map for you.
Zaraj is not on the combat tracker or on the map.
Are you sure about that? Oh, that's right. I gotta throw you on the map. I'm so sorry. Could have swore you were on the map. I apologize.
No worries. I was like looking at the combat tracker, like, where am I?
Alright, there we go. So yeah, position yourselves in the chamber. That's the creature up at the top of the ceiling there. And I'll give you guys some music.